co-sign. Y'all hurry up. Y'all getting up.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Tuesday, March the 25th regularly scheduled City Commission meeting for the City of Henderson, Kentucky. If you would, please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You know, that was one of the best Pledge of Allegiances I've ever heard from the crowd. I just want y'all to know you did a great job. Can we have a call for attendance, please?
Commissioner Hargis. Present. Commissioner Thomas.
Here.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Here.
Commissioner Witt.
Here.
Mayor Staten.
Here. And we are going to reorganize the agenda just a bit because we have some people who need to make their bowling league or bowling activities today. Is that right?
Yes.
So first off, we are going to do the Community Spotlight Award. And if I could have Miss Julie Wisher join me at the podium.
Okay.
For this month's Community Spotlight, we honor Elevate, an organization committed to creating pathways for independence for individuals with disabilities. Through work-ready learning, life skills development, and employment placement, Elevate helps individuals gain the tools they need for success. Grounded in the vision of Hugh Edward Sandifer, Elevate is the only adult day training center in the area offering on-site pre-vocational training with jobs at or above minimum wage. Under the leadership of Executive Director Julie Wisher, Elevate has flourished and reached new heights. Julie's dedication has guided the organization through significant growth and innovation, ensuring every participant is supported in their journey toward independence. Elevate recently made history by breaking ground on a new residential community project in Henderson County called Elevate Estates. The development will include 38 permanent housing units for individuals with disabilities, along with 10 others set aside for those with intellectual and developmental disabilities who need modest support. This project will provide not only housing, but also the necessary services to help individuals live independently. Today, we honor Elevate and your dedication to improving the lives of individuals with disabilities in our community.
Awesome. So, Julie, I've known you for the better part of 15 years?
Probably.
Ish, something like that.
Yeah.
And you've done a lot of things over the years that have made me and made us proud.
Thank you.
But this might be one of the most proudest moments I've ever had of
Well, thank you.
and your organization and
Thank
what you all have
you.
been able to accomplish.
Thank you very much.
On behalf of the City of Henderson, I want to present you with this Community Spotlight Award.
Wonderful.
And I
Thank
want to
you.
give you the podium to say a few
Okay.
words if you'd like. And then
Thank you.
after she does that, if everybody from Elevate, and she'll give you the signal, if everybody here from Elevate could join us in front of the bench for a quick picture, we would definitely appreciate it. But the floor is all yours.
All right, thank you. I'll be quick. We've made the news pretty frequently over the past few weeks. 2 years ago, I came before you all and told you about this dream, and y'all smiled and nodded and gave your support, but I'm guessing you thought it would never happen because a lot of people did, and on most Tuesdays I thought it wouldn't. But here we are. There are trucks there right now. They'll start moving dirt tomorrow, which is a huge step for us as an organization. We're the former Sandifer Center, Hugh Edward Sandifer Training Center. But the biggest inspiration for this journey are the individuals sitting over here. There's volunteers, there's board members, there's staff, and then there's participants. Even that Jack's right there smiling at me. They make life entertaining every day. They show their growth every day. They've allowed us to grow, and it is an honor to live in a community that recognizes that and creates job opportunities for them. And I think this community has set an example of what it means to be an inclusive community, and so I want to thank you all for that. Now, you want your picture made?
Okay, short people need to be.
Yeah, so if you all can squeeze in a little bit. All right, here we go. Smile at me. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Good luck bowling.
It's pretty fierce.
I bet. I bet.
Hey, Julie. Odell, that's my neighbor.
Odell,
Yeah. Thanks for taking care of it.
hey, anytime. He's a good one. Very good.
Yes, he is.
All right, and next up, if I could have the good Reverend Charles Johnson join me at the podium, we have a proclamation for Fair Housing Month.
Whereas the strength of our nation and all of its states flows from the
Can Jeannie
promise.
come up, Miss Jeannie's cute? I can't say her last name, I say Miss Jeannie cute. I don't want to shred her name.
Quattrochi.
Is that right? Is that Quattrochi?
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Thank you, Dylan.
Whereas the strength of our nation and all of its states
Translate.
flows from the promise of individual equality and freedom of choice. And whereas April 11th, 2025 marks the 57th anniversary of the passage of the U.S. Fair Housing Law, Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, known as the Fair Housing Act, as amended, which enunciates a national policy of fair housing without regard to race, color, religion, national origin, sex, familial status, and disability, and encourages fair housing opportunities for all citizens. And whereas the City of Henderson and Human Rights Commission are committed to highlight the Fair Housing Law, Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 by continuing to address discrimination in our community, to support programs that will educate the public about the equal rights housing opportunities, and to plan partnership efforts with other organizations to help assure every American of their right to fair housing. And whereas on February 3rd, 2012, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, issued a final rule that prohibits discrimination on the basis of actual or perceived sexual orientation, gender identity, or marital status in regard to housing programs assisted by HUD or subject to a mortgage insured by the Federal Housing Administration. And whereas fair housing is the policy of the City of Henderson, now therefore the City of Henderson does hereby proclaim the month of April 2025 Fair Housing Month in Henderson, Kentucky.
All right. So I wanted to say thank you both for the work that you do in the community in regards to human rights and in regards to fair housing. And I want to also say that we as a board have talked a lot about our housing inventory in Henderson. And we understand that you need support from us in order to maintain a fair housing environment. We need more houses that are affordable in nature in this community. And so that is certainly one of the top things that we want to be working on as a city commission over the next year to 2 years is to provide more housing at the levels for people who have starter homes and who can't afford houses that are a little bit more expensive. And so we're going to do whatever we can to back you and thank you for being on the front line to carry out this message of fair housing into the community. We certainly appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And may I just say, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Commissioner, for your work and your effort on human rights. But also, this is a first for Miss Jenny, and this is a first for also Miss Brandon as well, too. And thank them for getting this proclamation together. And even after I hang up the human rights mantle, pass the torch on, that these two cannot go anywhere. They'll continue to do this. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for all your work and stuff. Thank the commission and thank as well as county as well too. We know the needs and the concerns in our tri-state and we'll continue to work for those efforts. So thank you for that.
And you want to take a quick picture?
Yes, yes. Can we go up where you want to go up here?
Y'all want me in that?
He got it from Dylan.
We can all, I'll do this and you guys can scream.
All right, I got a couple.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Rev. Thanks for all you do.
Okay, next up on the agenda is, do we have any new employees to
We have
recognize?
3.
We have some new employees we want to recognize.
Trace, if you could come up first. We have a new custodial worker with the Parks and Recreation Department, Barbara Rivera.
I'd like to introduce you to Barbara Rivera. She's our newest employee at the JFK Center. We were able to lure her away from the school system to help with us at the JFK Center. So far, so good. Nothing but compliments from her so far. And nothing but compliments from our staff and nothing but compliments from our other patrons at the JFK Center. So I don't think we can do much better than that.
So Miss Barbara, just a quick question for you. So what was it that that made you want to come work for the city as opposed to the job that you did have?
Well, I always wanted to, but I've been with the school system for 7 years, which I'm currently still is. And then when this position came open, it's something that I always like do, cleaning and being a custodian. I said, well, let me apply and see if they harm me. And thank God they did.
Well, thank you for coming to work for us. We certainly appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
All right, and then we have one with the Henderson Water Utility, if Mr. Bowles and Mr. Stephen Richmond want to come forward as well.
I'd like to introduce Mr. Stephen Richmond. He comes to us from Seabury, Kentucky. He owned his own construction business. Before that, he worked for Big Rivers Electric. And, just happy to have him. He's fitting in really well. Yeah.
So what are you doing out at the water utility?
I'm in maintenance.
In maintenance?
Yeah.
So how's it been so far? Are you pleased with your work environment and the people you work with?
Yeah, very
Good.
well. Yeah.
That's a good answer to keep your job. Welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you very
appreciate
much.
it. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And then our final new introduction tonight is with the Finance Department. If Ms. Mills and Ms. Drea Martin could come forward, please.
I'd like to introduce Drea Martin. She just started yesterday, so she's still brand new, but she's going to be our new account technician senior, so she'll be working in the accounts payable department for the finance. And just one thing to note that I think one time in college, she was working at the pool for the city, so she's back now at the city.
Wow, so
Welcome back.
you worked here before and you left and you came back.
Yes, sir.
So was there something specific that you liked? I always like to ask these questions just so we all know. I mean, is there something specific that you liked about the city that drew you back?
Well, a lot of my family members have worked for the city my mom has worked here for 26 years. So it's just and I've lived here all my life. So it's just it's closer to home and I'm comfortable with everybody.
Good deal. Well, welcome
That's the
aboard.
part I like. You say you lived here.
Yeah.
That's part.
Yeah. Well, welcome aboard. We certainly appreciate having you. For your point. Oh, I got to pass a note real quick. All right. Are we good here?
That's it.
Okay, sorry. Thank
Welcome
you.
back.
Welcome aboard. We
Welcome
appreciate having
aboard.
you. Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
All right. Next up, we have the Garden Club of Henderson.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Leanne Scott, and I'm the second vice president of the Garden Club. I think you all have been working with Pam Johnson prior to this point, and she had some other things she had to attend to today, so tag I'm it. Miss Ginger is handing out quotes. You have front and back sheet there from the pots that we propose to donate to the city at the crosswalks, having you all take up the existing concrete pots. I think you all have already discussed this and doing whatever you do with those. And then these would be new pots that the Garden Club would provide. I've already had a text message from Doug showing us which intersection or which crosswalks they're to be put at. And I've also had a text from Steve giving me the physical address for the delivery. This is a company out of Florida. These pots are made in the USA. And so this was our choice after viewing several different bids from different companies, that this would be the most cost effective. And then we'll be working with Andy Rideout. And I don't know if he's still calling it Days Garden Center or if he's changing the name, and to get the soil and the plants and things to put in those. So we're keeping it all local or all USA to replace these pots. So.
And did you say you're donating all this?
Yes.
And so there's no financial commitment from the city
Other
whatsoever?
than for the city to actually unload it from
Yeah.
the truck and then move them where they need to go.
Yeah. Oh
Yes.
my gosh, thank you.
You're
No,
welcome.
seriously, that's fantastic.
That's what the Garden Club is about, is beautification, education, maintaining our ecology and that in Henderson and for the city itself. In
Y'all do
order
a
to
great
draw
job.
people,
Yeah.
maintain standard of living for every citizen, et
We've
cetera.
been doing the pots, that's who does it.
Yes, we've been doing the
That's
pots for
little people you
years.
see running
Well, we certainly appreciate it because I don't think there's a single person in this room that hasn't seen them and enjoyed looking at them as they visit our downtown.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
They're
thank you
beautiful.
very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're
That's-
welcome.
That's terrific.
More than welcome.
Good deal. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
And then last up on the presentations part, we have Clay Gillum from the Henderson Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
Is there, can we pop open that PowerPoint possibly? Good deal. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Clay Gillum. I'm the Executive Director at the Chamber. Appreciate an opportunity to just talk to you all a little bit. I've been in this role a little under a year, and it's been a busy time. So I wanted to kind of start with just a really quick update on maybe some things that are new since we last talked to you all, some things that we're continuing to do, and then have just a couple of requests at the end. Didn't think about going through this. Do we have a clicker? Things are going well so far, yeah? Okay, so most of you all probably know this, some of you may not. The Chamber is a nonprofit organization. We're a 501c6 as compared to a 501c3, which just means that we're membership driven. Looking back at 2024, our total operating budget was about $460,000. Of that revenue that we were bringing in, about 50%, half was membership. The other 40% was coming from event revenue and sponsorships of those events. And then we do receive about 10% of that 460 as an appropriation from the city, which we're very grateful for and hope to be able to continue that relationship. On the expense side, in terms of what we're doing with that funding, about half of that goes to payroll. We have a staff of 4 that we'll talk about in just a second. And another 25% is spent on those events that we're putting on. And the final 25% operating expenses like rent and website maintenance and things like that. In 2025, we've already increased our membership and sponsorship rates by about 10% across the board. As you all know as well as anybody, costs of everything continue to rise, and we had not increased that in more than 5 years. So it was time to be able to maintain our budget. We've got 488 active member businesses today. We've kind of hovered around that 500 mark for quite some time, so we're excited about that retention and also excited to be able to grow now that we've kind of got our feet under us. In the past, we had 4 committees. When DHP merged in 2022, that was 5. We now have 6 committees. We like meetings at the Chamber. So the Business Development Committee was a new one that came from our strategic planning session in January, where the board kind of recognized that there was a lot of work that was being done that didn't really live under any particular umbrella. And so things like supporting the 41 strip as we continue construction of the I-69 bridge, things like the Lunch and Learn series, all of those fall under the Business Development Group now. We also have an ambassador program with its largest class ever, 37 volunteers. Again, just kind of in the spirit of transparency and some context for the things that we're talking about today, this is what our operational structure looks like. Of course, like any nonprofit, we have our board of directors. Those are my bosses and kind of the keepers of integrity of the organization. Those are made up of members. Our committees are also made up of members, and then I manage a staff of 3 at the office. We've got Jada, who's pretty new as of September. She's doing a bang-up job on our events. We have Madison, who focuses on marketing and membership, and Donna, our beloved Donna, who's been with the Chamber more than 30 years, who keeps us all on track with everything else. Again, we talked about those different committees, and all of those are made up from our membership. I am absolutely not going to read through each one of these, and most of you all have seen them, but just kind of a reminder of a snapshot of what we work on throughout the year. We did drop a few significant events off of our roster this year, but all of those were replaced by something new. This list remains at about 35 events a year, so at baseline, we're talking an event every week and a half to 2 weeks, and that's before we add in things like ribbon cuttings and committee meetings, et cetera. And when we're not working on events, there's a lot of other non-event work that the Chamber and DHP do. Again, I won't read through those, but just kind of a note of some of the ways that we interact in the community. We worked on the downtown dog park last year that the city helped partner with us on. And we've got a few, like I mentioned, new events that are coming up in 2025. So we'll go over those really quickly. Espresso Martini Fest. This was a 3-day event, brand new concept and brand new event for Henderson. We ended up with over 180 voting submissions, 773 espresso martinis sold in 3 days. We really conservatively estimated, just based on the price that those martinis were sold for and the reports that we got from the restaurant, a direct spend of at least $15,000 in the community over those 3 days. And if you look at that, with an industry multiplier of 1.5 to 2, that's over $25,000 in economic impact. And that event was free for attendees. Well, not free for attendees, but there were no tickets involved that came back to the Chamber. It was free for our members to participate in. And so we were really excited just to have an event that was all about driving people to local businesses, supporting our members, and just kind of helping to grow the personality of our downtown. Another new event. Yeah, go ahead.
Who won?
Who won?
Yeah.
Hometown Roots did.
Oh!
Yeah. She didn't see that.
Convenient is that? I honestly didn't know when I asked the question, so yeah, congratulations.
The votes don't lie.
Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, so another just briefly new event series. Shannon at the library has been such an awesome community partner. She came to us last year and said, we want to be more involved with the Chamber. We want to support you all. What are your biggest goals next year? And one of the things that I told her was that I want to make sure we're a resource for businesses. I want to make sure that when people start a business in Henderson and are struggling or need help, they know that the Chamber is where they can turn. And so kind of in that vein, we felt like we needed to get back to the education piece of our mission. And so we've started a business success series at the library. Because of the partnership with the library, we're able to offer this completely free. It's free to members and non-members. Jersey Mike's provided lunch for the last couple. So we'll continue to do those throughout the year. The first topic was on mental health in the workplace. The one in April will be on HR. We'll have one on marketing and one on small business finance as well.
So for that, to add to that first one as well, there were almost 70, 75 attendees.
At the first one, yeah. And we've got about 40 signed up so far for the April one. Okay, this is new. Honestly, many of you may not have heard of it. If you're not involved in DHP, we're kind of just starting to get the word out into the community. And if you're hearing this, if you're at home, if you're here, please come. This is new, and we really want to blow it out of the water. So you all know the Sunset District has been in place for a couple of years now. DHP continues to talk about how we can best support that. It's an investment that the city's already kind of decided to make, so we feel like it's our prerogative to figure out how do we make it the most worthwhile. And, kind of the two things that you think of with the Sunset District, which, as you all know, it's you can buy a beverage at one of the establishments in town and carry it in the designated cups with the wristbands throughout the designated area. The two kind of factors that you need are, why are you going to come downtown and utilize it, and what are you going to do in between 2 points that you would want to utilize it for? And so such was the inspiration for Summer Sunset Series. If you all have been to like a Thursday Night Live in Lexington, it'll be a similar concept to that. It'll be one Thursday a month from 4 to 8 p.m. We anticipate having a live musician at each Thursday, farmers market and artisan market vendors. We've already had a few of those signed up. An arts element for each one, and of course it'll be family friendly. We've started talking to the shops about staying open late. So the idea is just to drive as many people into the downtown area as we can during those 4 to 8 periods on those Thursdays. that they would have a place staying out with their family, that it would be completely free, that if they did choose to spend money, they're going to be doing so with some local artisan or farmers market vendors or some of our local establishments. 3 out of 4 of those have been sponsored, so we anticipate being self-sufficient with those events. Final note before I close out, these are just a few of the collaborations and projects kind of outside of that world of events and initiatives that the Chamber's involved in. We're continuing to maintain a relationship with the farmers market to talk to them about how we can best support their growth and success. We're continuing the retail recruitment partnership that we've engaged in with the Tourism Commission and Economic Development. We will continue to support the dog park with ongoing fundraising. April 1st, we're going to help with a job fair at the high school, just connecting businesses to the young people in our community and making sure that they're aware of the opportunities that are here locally for them to stay in town and work. And as you all know, downtown parking study. We're in the midst of that right now. So I'll kind of close us out with our final requests. We talked about the Summer Sunset Series. You all know the Sunset District has been in place for a couple of years now. At best, we can estimate with the hourly rate that's required to have a person covering that. If we were to add Thursdays to the Friday and Saturday that had already been committed over the last couple of years, you're looking at about $250 a week additional. So our up top request is adding Thursdays to all of the open weekends for the Sunset District. So this would go May 15th through Art Hop in early November. We understand that that's a significant expense. We're not taking that lightly. We do feel like the best way for that to make headway is to make it as simple as possible for the consumers to understand. And so not having kind of those pop-up dates where it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off, was our reasoning for wanting to just include all of the Thursdays so that we say it's Thursday through Saturday, this is the opening date, this is the close date. Having said that, those Thursdays of the Summer Sunset Series would be the most important to DHP. So if there needs to be a negotiation, those would kind of be the sticking points for us that we would really like for it to be utilized, as that is kind of the onus for that event. Independence Day and fireworks celebration, you know, we're really grateful to be financially supported on that again this year, but we have come to you all over the last couple of years and talked about just the lack of corporate support on those and the idea that it is a little bit out of scope for the Chamber and DHP to continue with. So I'd really just kind of like to rebroach that conversation and ask you all to reconsider what the future of that event looks like. We anticipate being able to handle it in 2025, but we continue to be interested in the possibility of moving that out of the Chamber's umbrella long term. And so we would just like you all to consider, as you make your plans for the next couple of years, what that might look like and how you might see the city taking a larger role in that. And the final one is just the parking study. We've been able to get some really great results. We have over 31 responses so far from business owners and employees of downtown businesses, and we continue to go out daily right now and gather those. But what we're finding is it's a complicated subject. That's probably not a surprise to you all. And the feelings around it are complicated, and so the solution is probably going to be something that requires a little bit more of a deep dive. And so we'd just like to request that rather than the April 8th meeting, we present either April 22nd or that first meeting in May. Give us a little bit more time to have some private conversations with individuals that own property downtown and figure out what our best solution overall will be. So that's going to be it for me today.
Do you have a number on that 4th of July price tag?
Yeah, so the fireworks themselves are $15,000, and that's the rate we've gotten for the last 3 years. You know, you can never be promised next year, but he's been pretty good about sticking with it. And then there's about another $2,500 of the band, the face painting, balloon artists, things like that. So $17,500 all in to put the whole event on.
Since 2020, that's gone up almost 50% increase on that as well.
And I do want to say, just to throw this out here, in my day job, I work with various counties outside of Henderson, and you would not believe how many comments I get specifically on Henderson's chamber and what they're doing. So I just want you to know, from an outside perspective looking in, you're doing a really great job.
Thanks. We appreciate that.
And I mean, I don't think any of your asks are out of line for what you guys are trying to do for the community part of it.
Thank you.
I think the only thing I would ask is that we continue to talk about how we can bring down some of the costs to be able to extend the Sunset District. Because to me, it seems like we're paying way too much on the hour to have somebody out there. And I think there might be a different solution that we can still provide somebody, but maybe not incur too awful much more in cost. And so if we can leave that line of communication open, and then for us on the fireworks discussion, I think the biggest issue is that we had one sponsor for a number of years who is no longer doing the sponsorship, and so rather than it being a chamber or a city thing from a funding standpoint, I think maybe if we join forces and just try to find another sponsor for our Independence Day celebration, that might be the route to go there. A willing sponsor who would donate money toward that event. And so I would welcome the opportunity to work with you guys to see what we can do there too. Anybody else have any comments or questions or anything?
No, I would agree with your comments.
Good deal. Well, thank you guys so much. We appreciate hearing from you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so that ends the presentations portion of the meeting. Before we get into the meat of the meeting, so to speak, I wanted to do two things. One is if anyone is here to speak on any item that is not on the agenda, please come forward and let us know what's on your mind. Seeing none, also wanted to take this opportunity. So we've had one meeting since this happened, but we haven't really had a regular meeting. And so I wanted to take the time to welcome Dylan Ward, our new city manager, up to the bench for his first regularly scheduled city commission meeting. Welcome, Dylan. We appreciate it. Right, and with that, we have a consent agenda.
The consent agenda for the meeting contains the following: the minutes of the March 18th, 2025 special called meeting, resolution number 18-25, resolution approving human resources report dated March 25th, 2025, resolution 19-25, resolution authorizing extension of water and sewer service outside city limits to Nathan Herron for property located at 2111 South Green Street, Lot 1, resolution number 20-25, resolution authorizing and directing the city attorney's office to proceed with action to collect outstanding debts owed to the city of Henderson, including judicial action if deemed appropriate. Municipal order number 27-25, municipal order accepting the stormwater management system maintenance agreement between J&B Mechanical, the Henderson Water and Sewer Commission, doing business as Henderson Water Utility, and the city of Henderson, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement. And municipal order number 28-25, municipal order awarding bid for mowing of city parks and other properties, groups A2 and A3 to RKC Outdoor Services of Morganfield, Kentucky.
Before we get a motion to approve, are there any items that any city commissioner would like to pull for further discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have a first reading of an ordinance amending a zoning ordinance.
Ordinance number 13-25. Ordinance amending Appendix A zoning, Article 34, Henderson Innovative Planning District. Ordinance amending Article 34, Henderson Innovative Planning District, Section 34.02, permitted uses, Section 34.03, lot and building standards, and Section 34.05, parking of Appendix A zoning of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Henderson.
A motion to approve, please.
Moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
And this was an item that we discussed a few weeks ago with Dawn Kelsey.
Right.
But if there are any other questions or comments, we'll entertain those at this time. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have a municipal order pertaining to the approval of residential sanitation.
Municipal Order Number 29-25, municipal order setting fees and charges for sanitation as authorized by Chapter 14 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Henderson, Kentucky.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
And again, this was an item that we discussed at an earlier work session or meeting at length, but do we have any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have a resolution authorizing supplemental agreement number 2.
Resolution number 21-25, resolution adopting and approving the execution of supplemental agreement number 2, construction phase between the City of Henderson and the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet under the Transportation Alternatives Program, TAP, for the North Green River Road Sidewalk Extension Project.
Motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second? Dylan, I'm going to put you to work. So tell us a little bit more about this project. I get asked a lot of questions about Green River Road and sidewalks, so.
So the good thing about this is I get to delegate as well, so I'm gonna ask Mr. Newman to handle this
Hey,
particular
who's that
project.
You want me to sit here or go up there?
Up there, if you don't mind, that way the camera can get you.
This project is a KYTC-funded project, and it goes back probably at least 10 years in time. It has taken this long to get it ready to go to bid. And it basically picks up the walking sidewalk at Green River Road and Osage Drive. It will continue to the south and eventually tie into the sidewalk at Bengate School. So it'll be a good connection point for all the kids that may have to walk to school or for the public who like to walk in their neighborhood. So that's what this project is for, and would recommend that we proceed forward with any future documentations and allow the mayor to execute those documents.
On the west side of the road, is Osage where it starts and goes north on the west side of the road?
Yes.
Okay, so it
Yes.
would go to Osage on the right side and then cross over to the left side if you need to go farther?
And if you remember, we widened Green River Road 7 years plus ago, and when we did that, we added a concrete sidewalk at that time, and this is just the connection portion to tie it all together.
Good deal. Anybody have any other questions or comments? Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have a resolution authorizing submittal of a grant application.
Resolution number 22-25, resolution authorizing the filing of an application and acceptance if awarded with the Department of Transportation, United States of America for a grant under the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act and committing the local share of funds necessary to secure a Section 5311, 5339, 5303, 5304 grant application.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Dylan, you want to tell us a little bit more about this one too, please?
Mayor and Commissioners, so as you all know, we've talked about in the past, we used to be part of the urbanized area boundary with the Evansville MPO. And so a year or two ago, due to the census, we actually were removed from that boundary. And so what that ultimately means for us is our grant application looks different, our funds are different, the flow of funds are different. And so this will actually be the first application that we make under this new arrangement. So in the past, we've not applied through KYTC, we've applied with the MPO directly to the FTA. So that's why you'll see on this application, it's actually a new 5311, I believe, is a new funding source for us, as well as going through KYTC. So one thing that's also unique about this application is you won't see an exact amount. Prior, and Ms. Kelsey, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding that in the past, since we were included in that urbanized area as part of Evansville, we were essentially looked at as a large population applicant. And we had certain funds that we were entitled to and were designated for us. Well, now, since we have been kind of kicked out of that boundary, so to speak, not because of us wanting to be or not because of Evansville wanting us to be. Actually, it's quite the contrary. Actually, the MPO is actually still submitting this application on our behalf. It's just not submitted with their application to the FTA. And so because of that, we are now a rural applicant, which means we have to apply through the state, who is actually the overarching applicant, and it's going to be up to the state to kind of divvy up those funds. So at this moment, we don't really know how much funding we will get until I guess they receive all the applications. And with this being our first year under this arrangement, we don't really have a good idea of what that's going to look like. So that's what this is. There is a little bit of unknown there. We're hopeful that we'll get close to what we got in years past, but certainly, as we talked earlier today, when the next Census Bureau or census comes around, we're going to be fighting to get back in the definition of the urban boundary for Evansville because it's to our benefit. So.
And just to kind of, if you don't mind, just to add on to that a little bit, 2025, 2026 timeframe should be the first year where we can start the process of correcting the error that they made at the federal level back last decade that eventually led to this change. And so that is something that is a priority item for us and for management, and we'll be working with Evansville MPO to try to get that corrected. What happened is that the Census Bureau did not properly take into account floodways and floodplains in between the northern boundary of the city of Henderson, the southern boundary of the city of Evansville, right there along the riverfront. And because they did not, and because there was one map that was submitted to them by another federal agency that was incorrect, they based the decision off of that to remove us from that MPO arrangement. However, we do wish to remain a part of Evansville's MPO for a number of reasons, notwithstanding the funding. The solidification of funding is one thing, but then the resources that they provided us over the years with traffic studies and an endless amount of advice on things that we do with our local roads and infrastructure has been invaluable to the community. So just to kind of let you know, we're going to be pursuing that, and we'll certainly keep the commission and the community aware of how far we have gotten with that as we go through the process.
Mayor, if I could add one last point. We had an open house a couple months ago, and one point that a gentleman from KYTC made to me that I thought was helpful is, so when it comes to the MPO, we're still part of their planning boundary because of our proximity to them. So when it comes to, their long-range planning, we're still involved. It's just the definition of the urban area boundary, which ties directly to funding that the Census Bureau sets, is what we've kind of fallen out of. So we still have a relationship from a planning perspective, but when it comes to an actual, receiving funding through them, that is what has stopped. So.
Anybody have any questions or comments, or roll call, please?
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have the resolution approving adoption of 2025 maintenance program for Hart.
Resolution number 23-25, resolution adopting the 2025 maintenance program for Henderson Area Rapid Transit.
We have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
We have any comments, questions?
I would just say that's part of the requirement of us to submit this grant, so.
Good deal. Any other comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have a municipal order approving amended and restated ambulance provider services.
Municipal order number 30-25, municipal order approving the amended and restated ambulance provider services contract between the City of Henderson, the County of Henderson, and Deaconess EMS LLC.
We have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second? Dylan, this is a pretty important one. You want to enlighten us
And I
on
will
that?
actually probably defer to Ms. Kelsey on this one.
Well, what I'll do is I want to introduce, we have some guests here.
All right.
Who have worked with us on this. So what we, as you all know, we have an ambulance agreement with the city and the county and Deaconess. Deaconess is our partner in this. In the last few years, we have all split on the amount of money that we contribute to this. Deaconess came, and that has worked well. But one of the ways that we were able to justify that is the city and the county had our own ambulances. So when we left Methodist, when Methodist no longer was here, and Deaconess kindly took over for Methodist, we had our own, the city and the county owned our own ambulances. So that was one of the reasons that Deaconess was willing to help support financially this. Well, those ambulances have seen better days. And I think we're on our last one that you all are still using. And so because of that, when they came back to us to talk about how to change you know, how to go forward, because our current agreement ends in May. One of the things that we discussed for quite a while was how that financial arrangement will work. And so, let me refer to my notes. So one of the things that we're doing is it's a 5-year contract, but over the first 4 years, we're going to increase the amount that we pay each year, and Deaconess is going to decrease, and that's on what the net loss is. And then by year 4, we will be 100% paying the 100% of whatever the cost is after they bill for their services, so.
Do anybody have any questions or comments or anything about the arrangement? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have on your agenda, it says municipal order, but it's actually a resolution authorizing the memorandum of agreement with Kentucky Heritage Council.
Resolution number 24-25, resolution approving memorandum of agreement between Kentucky Heritage Council, the State Historic Preservation Office, the New Race Creek Baptist Church, and the City of Henderson regarding the demolition and new construction of property located at 503 Plum Street, Henderson, Kentucky, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement on behalf of the city.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Have any comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have a municipal order awarding a bid for the construction of a new fire station.
Municipal order number 31-25, municipal order awarding bid for construction contract for the new Fire Station 1 to ARC Construction Company Incorporated of Evansville, Indiana, in the amount of $10,785,450.
Big number.
I can show
I know. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, I think this one does require a little bit more explanation and discussion. Dylan, you want to start that off?
Yes, sir. So I will start, but I'll go ahead and invite Ms. Basham and Chief Dixon up to the podium just in case they have anything to add as well. But as you all know, this has been a project that has been in the works for quite some time. The location for this fire station is on 2nd Street, where the former IBT church used to be. Several years ago, we tore down the church, and then a couple years after that, we tore down the education building following suit. And so we've had this site in mind for a while for this project. This project, looking at the design and kind of the programming of how much space we would need, is something we've looked at for a while. I know it's right next door to Holy Name School and right across the street from the church. And so one thing that we've paid careful attention to throughout this process is working closely with them. I will say, to the fire department's credit and to Chief Dixon and his staff, they have an excellent relationship with the school and the church and have communicated with them multiple times throughout this process. So as you can see in front of you, as you mentioned, Mayor, we are looking at about $10.7 million, or about 10.8 if you round it up. That does include a few alternates, the largest of which is some what they call either four-fold or bifold doors. Your typical overhead doors open like this and they coil at the top, or they pull back at the top. These doors actually have a vertical slit and they open and fold. There's a lot less maintenance required. I think Chief Dixon and our municipal facilities would say without question that is one of the most difficult items in a fire station to maintain, while also the most critical. It also improves response time by a few seconds.
Yes.
Chief Dixon would be able to tell you exactly how much, but it as you know, seconds in fires matter. So that was one of the reasons why we went ahead and put that in there as well. A couple other points that I'll note is that the base bid includes a couple allowances, a contingency allowance and then a signage allowance. And what those basically mean is those are a placeholder in that budget. If, we know throughout the course of this project there will be things, and there's already been a couple things that will come up that will require change orders. Those essentially allow us to approve an amount that we can go ahead and kind of make some of those changes that are needed. This project will utilize deep foundations, which is another reason that contributes to the cost. It requires soil in Henderson is not always the best. And so with this being a fire station and a piece of critical infrastructure, it did require the engineer to use some what we call deep foundations, which you would not typically use with, standard construction. And then the last point, just that I'll touch on with the cost, the engineer's estimate for this project was actually at about 11.3 million based on recent, as you all know, construction costs have exponentially increased in the last few years. But based on what they've seen for projects bid in other cities close to us, for example, Owensboro, and performing their own estimates, these actually came in slightly under what they have seen recently in other places. Chief Dixon or Ms. Basham, do either of you all have anything to add?
Other than just kind of piggybacking on the folding doors, we went to Bowling Green this past week, and two of their newer stations have those doors, and in 4 years they've had no maintenance cost at all. So that's a huge benefit for us, because right now we have 2 doors at Station 1 that we've had to repair just recently, and then we have parts that we're waiting on for Station 3, so that's always a headache.
Chief, I want to ask a question just because I get asked this question a lot. And I've asked this of Dylan. He's done a good job answering it before too. But I guess the question that a lot of people in the public want to know is that we're building a fire station right beside a school. So how are we going to be good neighbors to the school, and what are we going to do if there's a fire whenever school is letting out or just coming into a session?
Okay, so we've already met with the school system at least multiple times to set up, even during the construction phase of this, to make sure that they know what the schedule is and make sure they know when we're going to be working. And then one of the alternates has to do with the signage and stuff that we're going to do for once we get a response of an emergency. The signs will kick on, so it lets them know that we're responding. So we've got a great working relationship with them. I really don't see us having any issues at all. Do you have anything to add to that?
I don't. Like you said, we've met with the school multiple times. Everybody's been a great partner, and we're keeping everybody in the loop on what's going on. The contractors are aware of certain school event dates and times for drop off and pick up. So we're really just keeping everybody in the loop and plan on being good neighbors.
And Mayor, to expand on your question about, like, let's say if school's letting out or they're trying to cross the street when the fire trucks are leaving, 2 things I would add. So the sign that Chief Dixon was talking about, we'll have preemptive signs for traffic that are approximately 300 feet in either direction of the station, but we will also have a sign, or at least there's plans for a sign, that would actually be on the corner right there. So if the Holy Name students are crossing the street, that sign would specifically be to let them know that, hey, the station doors are opening, there's trucks about to cross. If you've already started to cross, finish, but probably pause. The other thing is with the way the station layout is set up, the people who are working at the station would know that if it's a busy time of the day, they could also choose to go out on First Street as opposed to Second Street. When they come out, it's going to be a pull-through bay. So as you imagine, if you're pulling through, you can either go right to go to Second Street or left to go to First Street. And so I think part of that's going to be operational decisions, that if they know right when school's letting out, they're probably not going to take Second Street and head north or east. They're going to take probably First Street and then head northeast. So,
Good deal. Any other questions or comments on this particular issue? I guess the only other question is how quickly we get this thing built.
You want to talk to that?
Construction is expected to take, I believe, 14 and a half months from the date that they get mobilized and out there.
And do we know about when that's going to happen?
I would say a couple months.
Okay.
Yeah, I would anticipate that following this meeting, we're end of March, so I would anticipate that we would give them probably a notice of award within the next couple of days, and then notice proceed soon thereafter. So I would say, June, July, summer of next year, hopefully we'll be able to have this thing complete, if everything goes according to plan.
Good deal. Well, thank you all very much. Appreciate it. I think we did get a motion in a second. Is that right? All right. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis. Aye. Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have a municipal order awarding a bid for rescue apparatus for the fire department.
Municipal order number 32-25, municipal order awarding bid for purchase of a 2024 Ram 5500 Crew Cab Extreme Duty Dry Rescue Truck for the fire department to Victory Fire Equipment, Louisville, Kentucky, in the base bid amount of $363,895.
We have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. And last up in this section, we have a municipal order approving the purchase of a new U.S. digital alerting system.
Municipal order number 33-25, municipal order approving purchase of a new fire station alerting system for the new Fire Station 1 and radio equipment retrofit for stations 2, 3, 4, and dispatch center from U.S. Digital Designs Incorporated by Honeywell in a total amount of $291,592.53.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. City managers report.
So we just have one item on, under the report today, and that's a rezoning number 1174 with the development plan. So the Planning Commission has conducted the public hearing on February 4th. The finding of facts were completed at the March 4th meeting. It contains approximately 0.8 acres, and they want to rezone from general business to highway commercial for the addition of a larger sign.
Do you need us to take any action on that, or is it just information only?
So the way that we work is we're under a 21-day. So if you or no one, if no one appeals it, or if you all don't want to appeal it, then the rezone becomes final within 21 days. So
Okay.
that's why Dylan's just letting you know in case you all want to raise an issue with
Gotcha.
it.
And we will have another meeting before the 21-day period expires, I'm assuming?
I doubt it.
I know we're missing the spring break.
Yes,
Okay.
no, we won't, but it doesn't have to be heard within 21 days. Notice just has to be given within 21 days.
Okay, good deal. We'll take a look at it in more detail. I know you've prepared for this meeting, but take a look at it in more detail. If anyone has any issues, please do let Dawn know that there are issues that we'd like to raise and whatnot. And otherwise, we'll just keep moving forward with that 21-day period. Before we get to the city commissioners' reports and the mayor's report, I've got a few board appointments that I want to go over. So we have a need for someone on Board of Zoning and Adjustments. And I would like to recommend John Stroud for this position. John Stroud obviously has a long history in the Codes Department, serving on the Code Enforcement Board. He's well qualified to know the information that is being presented to him as part of the committee, as part of the board for Board of Zoning and Adjustments. And I would like to recommend that he serve this next term on Board of Zoning and Adjustments. We need a motion to approve.
So moved.
So, second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis. Aye. Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have a vacancy on the code. We have one vacancy that we're going to fill today, because that's the only one that I alerted to you last time. And then we will have another Code Enforcement Board vacancy that we'll need to address at our next meeting. But the one that is available, I'd like to present Becky Stone. Dawn, can you tell us a little bit more about Becky Stone and her qualifications, please?
Well, Becky used to be in our Codes Department many years ago. She predates me. She predate you, Buzzy? John Stroud probably can tell you when she was here. And then Becky moved from our Codes Department and went over to Owensboro and worked for Owensboro for where? Planning. Yeah, she moved to Owensboro Planning. Then she retired. Her husband is Hugh Stone. Becky actually served on BOZA for a term and was a wonderful a member of the BOZA, but then she and Hugh got really busy and she wasn't able to, she didn't resign, she just told, she didn't take a second term. But now she's interested in coming back, and so we're excited with the possibility of having Becky because she's very familiar with all these issues.
That being said, I'll present Becky Stone and look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis. Aye. Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. And last up, we have one more that I didn't mention last week, but this is for a non-voting member of a board on the Housing Authority. Her term expired a few months ago, and we need to make sure that that she is officially still on the board. She is officially still on the board, but we need to make that official statement. Her name is Rosa Woods. She is absolutely a fantastic person and just a wealth of knowledge and does such a good job at the Housing Authority, and she has expressed interest in wanting to continue to serve on the Housing Authority Board as a non-voting member. And I would like to present her to renew in her same position on the Housing Authority Board and look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. That is the end of the board appointment section. And are there anything else that we have not covered other than City Commissioner and Mayor's report? I've got something under my report that'll take a few minutes, but let's start with the City Commissioners. Commissioner Hargis, do you have anything for us today?
I do not.
Commissioner Thomas?
Nope.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Nope.
Commissioner Witt?
No.
All right. I'm going to hand these out. These are just, right now, these are notes. This is a preliminary thing that Buzzy and I have been discussing now for a few weeks in terms of how we are going to budget this year's money for the Intercity Improvement Plan. I do not expect you to vote on this. This is the first time that a lot of you are seeing this. What I wanted to do is just give this out to you guys to take home. And what we'll do is we will, I'll get with Ms. Holly Blanford, and we'll email you all out a refresh copy of the voting totals. You should have those from a couple of months ago, but that way you can match them up with the voting totals. If you have any questions, you can let me know. So far, in the program, if you take a look at, I'm not going to go over each individual project. We can do that at a later meeting. But if you look at all the projects that we've done or are about to do, including the acquisition of properties on the Letcher Street Business Corridor, or the partnership with Habitat that's going to be $100,000 a year, or the alley cleanup, or the installation of the flock cameras, or the Hero project that we're about to tidy up, or the Anthony Brooks Park, or a lot of these different things that we have tackled, we're approaching, if not exceeding, over $1 million spent on improvements in the inner city so far as a direct and indirect result of the Inner City Improvement Plan. We had our orientation last 2 weeks ago, I think it was, and I'll tell you, there was a lot of renewed energy in the room that night. It was about to storm whenever we started the meeting, and yet we still had like 80 to 90 people there show up for the meeting. And I think we're going to have a lot of good work and a lot of good projects ahead of us. The committees for this year, we're doing blight and affordable housing, economic development, public safety, youth engagement and enrichment, and neighborhood empowerment are the 5 committees for this year. And so the program for 2025 has officially kicked off. And kicked off, I think, rather successfully. I think we're in for a good year. So we'll do that. I'll give you guys out some more information. Do we have any need for executive session today?
No,
We're good?
sir.
All right. With that, I will entertain a motion. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.